Yes. I'm back. Hello, everybody. It's Fountain Frank. Dave asked me to do a brief episode of the Fountain Frank Hour of Power, because we don't have a whole hour because you guys have a meta show to do. But I had to show up here because holy shit, has this been a hell of a week in the war that Horde does not seem to want to fight. Let me tell you. All right. So first of all, one, I wore my helmet because we're at war. But is it really a war if these guys don't actually want to fight it? I don't know. I don't really need this, do I? All right, we're gonna take this off. We're gonna take this off. There we go. All right, hold on a sec. We don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. There. We don't need this. Throw it on the chair. Listen. I have not seen anything like the cope coming out of Horde in the last 24 hours since the last time they did this in the last war. Holy shit. I love it. It's wonderful. They have turned the Horde that wins from win to chagrin in about a light year of space. It's amazing. Look at this. Look at this. Gobbins flat out admits it. He posted this the other day. Great work with the turnout. Great form up, guys. I can't believe he actually said that. Great form up, guys. He says it. They had bigger numbers on the hostile side, so we had to stand down. And Imperium is the largest EUTZ blob currently on the server by far. No, that would be in it. There are two ways to counter us. One of them, he says, is blew up a bunch of people. He spells blue without the E. Tisk, young man. Or we can lose some space and manage which fights we can take. Currently, he prefers the second option. Well, of course he prefers the second option. You know why? Because that's the option that doesn't require him doing fuck all. Because let's be honest, guys. What has Horde done recently? Well, look on the screen. I'm filming this at 10 o'clock on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Freedom Time on Saturday. That's the Horde Keepstar in EFM. One regional gate away from their staging in GQ. One gate away. And I have to tell you, the cope coming out of Horde on Reddit today is priceless. Look at this. Let me show you. Before we even get to the cope today, let me show you. This has been a hell of a week for the Imperium, just in general. The fights we've managed to take. Look at this battle report. This was a couple days ago. This was last week, the 28th of May. In X2, we beat these guys for the first time. There you go. They lost 64. We won 85. Our Fortizar online, everything was fine. It was fine. And we won this fight. So that's win number one. Then let's fast forward. Then we go over here. We go over here to this fight. This one in Great Wildlands. This one was 3 days ago. Holy shit. Wow. Horde loses 200 billion ISK worth of stuff to try to kill a Keepstar that doesn't die. Refuses to die. There you go. 200 billion ISK. They lost 969 ships. Nice. I can't believe it. Then, and this is the best part. Yesterday, Keepstar armor timers. Do you guys remember what happened during all the Keepstar armor timers in the last war? Those were the big fights. Why were they the big fights, Frank? Well, they're the big fights because as long as the armor is still up and you haven't got the hull timer, you can tether because the structure's still there. So you take the fight on the armor timer so that in the event that the bad guys win, you're still tethered and you can get your Titan fleet and the rest out. You don't ever defend a hull timer, or if you do it with subcaps. Why? Because when the thing dies, all your fucking dudes are hanging out there in space, ready to get blowed up. So if anybody here thinks that this EFM Keepstar is not going to die in 2 days, 8 hours, and 38 minutes from the time that I'm recording this video, you are a wild-eyed optimist. You should probably ask Gobbins if you can be the Fountain Frank for a horde. Because God knows they need one. Because the morale over there is about as high. Well, what's really low? Something that's really low. What's something that's really, really, really low? I know. It's about as high as Headliner's IQ. How about that? Anyway, so what's happening now? So yesterday, at the end of the fight, there it is. There was when this was the start of the fight. Didn't happen. At the end of the fight, our guys moved into GTAQ and started reinforcing the keep over there in their stager, and they're reinforcing Insplex again. But then guess what? That's a funny meme. I just thought I'd throw that out there to show you guys. And guess what? Asher started crabbing in the horde staging. He doesn't always run crab beacons, but when he does it in horde staging system. And I have a picture of it here. Here it is. There it is. There is Asher crabbing right there. Now, Frank, you need to be honest with everyone, and I will be. Asher was not actually crabbing in hordes current staging. That's next door. He was in EFM with the Keepstar on the grid, but he was crabbing in an active fight system with a Keepstar on the grid. But I love the fact that Reddit Swarm posted that he was crabbing in their staging, and instantly all of the horde nerds started running to Reddit screaming, well, actually, that's not really our staging. Our staging is next door, and there's a difference between staging in a system that's 3 light years from your staging versus one that's more than 10 and the regional. Oh my God, it was hilarious. Guys, if you're explaining, you're losing. And whether or not Asher was actually crabbing in horde staging, he was crabbing on the same grid as a horde Keepstar. Show me Gobbins doing that ever. Show me any alliance leader doing that ever. Keep up the cope, horde. We love it. So what's next? I don't know. I don't know what's next. All I can tell you is I have a really sinking feeling that Gobbins is not actually in charge of horde anymore. Because this all acts like something that George would do if he were running horde. Letting us do whatever we want, running away, constantly saying things like, I'd rather trade space for having to actually get friends or forming up more numbers than the other guys. Because, you know, that's how you win wars, not fighting and not doing what it takes to stop the bad guys from getting to your space. We've heard it all. Frank, George, you've heard it, right? Yes, George has heard it. These are floodplains. Innsmother's a floodplain. All this is floodplains. What happens when you guys run out of floodplains? Are you going to fight then? And if you do, will it be too late? things to think about. I hope you all are enjoying the Meta Show. Dave, back to you.
When it comes to EVE Online, every player wants to know the most effective tactic available. You want to know the meta. The meta controls everything. It determines what will and will not happen. Knowing the meta will alter your views, make you question your reality. It might even make you laugh. And now, you're part of it. You're watching The Meta Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Meta Show on the 8th of the 6th. We're a bit late because, unfortunately, I had to work. And if Dave's got to work, we don't got a show. Unfortunate things working in a publication, you got to work. Everybody enjoy that message from Fountain Frank there. Honestly, he had me creasing up. I didn't watch that video until just now because Chris got it to me while I was at work. But, oh my god, I was creasing. Was I not, Remaker?
Yeah, that was hilarious. And the line with the headliner, that was fucking mess. I think even the headliner.
I think the only person that's got a lower IQ than headliner is Rodney. I've got a note about that later. But anyway, so bit of housekeeping. Welcome to the Meta Show. INN are recruiting stream producers, EVE streamers, breaking news streamers. We need more of them at the moment. So check us out on our website. But let's dive right into it because we are now 20 minutes in. So, the war. It looked like it was heating up a bit this week, didn't it? Remaker.
Yeah, you were cutting out for a second there. Dave.
Was I really? Because I am literally up in my mic and my thing's active. May have been Discord, but...
You were out for a second or two, but all good.
Looks like it's heating up a bit. Does it not?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Brisk said earlier, right? Is it really a war, right? What are they doing? I mean, they're changing their strategy, their statements. Each week is something different, right? And now even admitting, we have they have only two options. So what is going to be, right?
Yeah,
I think we will see that in the next statistics, yeah.
I think we have a serious case of the goalposts being not just moved, they're being picked up out of the ground, taken out of the stadium, taken up to the north of the country and put in a new stadium. They're moving them that far. I mean, the few times they tried to fight this war so far, they had, on at least two of them, almost equal numbers and just got absolutely slapped. Like, I was there for one of them, and all we did was sit on a gate. That's all we did, and they kept coming in, and coming in, and coming in, and coming in.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So we have some stats on the wall, but first of all, I mentioned IQ of FCs. Boy, do I have a funny picture for you folks. I forgot to set it up beforehand, so give me 10 seconds to set this up. Dank leaks inbound from Horde General, everybody. I just have to show this because I promised to. And like when you're an FC, you gotta know your jump ranges, folks. You gotta know them. So, for those that don't know, the system in question is a very, 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 very long distance away from the system next door. Let me show you. Let me get a map. I will show you with a map. Ignore what that says because I need to set this up real quick. Welcome to Doing Things on the Fly with Dave Archer, everybody.
All good, David, all good. I think until you're searching, I mean, this is ridiculous, right? And first of all, who told them to go back? They shouldn't go back through the regional gate. They should stay in EFM with their capital staging. I mean,
it
come
was
on, like, dude.
rather stupid. But I will take that image down because we don't condone bullying on the Met Show, but that was just too funny not to put on the show. Dotlan, here we go. So the ye old area in question, the EFM to GQ gate, everybody.
Just open into mother. I think that would.
What I'm going to show here is this bit here, this really, really long thing. Now, as you saw there was a discussion in Horde General about why you can't jump that gap. I'm going to put the question to the chat, guys. Why can't you jump that gap? Anyone? Anyone? You? Anyone here? It's because it's really far. To get round, you have to go through Great Wildlands. I know. It's Dotland. Yeah, to get around, you have to go through Great Wildlands, which is why we ref the HB keep. Now, you say that. They did take a gate. I will give them credit for that. When we were in Tosasing, oh my god, look at that sort. When we were in Tosasing, EFM, they took this gate and promptly got slapped. I don't use dark mode on Dotland. It keeps me awake when I'm FCing. So, let's move on to the stats. We're going to want this image later. But we're going to move on to the stats with Remaker. So, for those that don't know, Remaker is like Minor Keith's man behind the scenes. And the, oh no, one of us can't be here guy. He gets us all the stats, all of the information we need. All the stats you saw last week were all him. So, we're going to let him go through the stats this week. Starting with the overall infrastructure loss. Remaker, take it away.
Thank you, buddy. So, like, talking about infrastructure, and you showed the dot on earlier, and we already seen a lot of Serenity being taken over by Imperium, and we will see later in the statistics how many they have actually lost. And this picture, the first graph, tells you about how many structures they have lost comparing to the Imperium. So in the red would be PanFam, Imperium would be blue, and some might have say, oh, like we see a lot of blue structures being down, right? But I can tell you one thing is like 99% of these structures are actually in the Dell. So while, like the Brisk mentioned, while we are in their territory fighting them, they are trying to attack the small alliance with 8,000 versus 50,000 members, attacking their refineries and engineering complexes. I mean, come on, right? Are you going to really like ignore the fact that we're there, we're taking your space, we are destroying all these structures, as you can see, from Athanors to the Tataras, right? And if you can move forward, Dave, just to show.
I am going to note one thing real quick. Over here, we've got the Skyhook losses. Now, these are killed Skyhooks, ones that have been blown up. I will note, since the recent changes, you no longer need to blow up Skyhooks when you take Solve. So, we're going to switch back over here. Every one of those systems that says Condi on this map, every Skyhook in those systems, class it is destroyed because it's been flipped to the Imperium. So they are gone. That's something to bear in mind.
Good point, Dave.
When they had to change them over, it cost them all that. And it's gone. So we're going to go on to the next image, which is the infrastructure.
Awesome. Yeah, so this one will tell us basically a trending. The first screenshot on the left will show us the weekly trend, right? Showing the infrastructural destruction in the value of the ISK. And all this data is basically coming from the ZKill board or the BRs. So everything is backed up. There is no twisting here. And as you can see, the Horde is destructive. Like, for example, we are in week 23, And on that first screenshot, you see that Imperium have lost 19 billion worth of structures versus Panth 63. Now, someone might wonder why did we lost 19, or where were these lost? So I can tell you one thing: Goonstorm has lost only one control tower, only one fucking control tower this week. All that is actually um, industry complex in the Delve, right? In the Delve or the Aquarius. So I think this gives a clear picture, and I don't think that it is a good idea to attack the small alliance, because that actually, I think, has a bad influence in their own alliances, where people will wake up and say, hey, why are we going on the other side of the map and shooting these structures when they are destroying and taking our space?
There's
Right? Doesn't
also
make any sense.
there's also the fact that now they've essentially ceded Innsmother to us. There is, and I can tell you this now, a lot of large structures. So Fortizars, Tataras, and Asbaus in Innsmother. Those are very expensive, especially dependent on the rigs, especially in the Asbal and the Tatara. Tatara rigs and Asbal rigs can run you about 30 billion ISK if they're T2.
Yeah.
Just
And
imagine it. However, knowing them,
yeah,
they've probably yanked the rigs, but yeah, this graph. Well, no, we will show this next week. Yeah, because we have another roundtable next week, but we will show this as well. This graph next week will be a lot because it will have 2 keep stars, definitely. It will have a lot of Fortizars, a lot more Tataras, and a lot more systems. Remaker?
yeah. I think I also saw the comment in the meme where the dragon mentioned in the chat for Horde needs some kind of a win for more boosting. I agree, but then I think it would be better if they would surprise us and actually defend one of their structure and win. Not, it doesn't matter of the BR. Fuck the BR. If you defend your own structure and you win a strategic objective, that will give a more moral and to your alliance, to your members. If you don't need to show up for every, but show at least for some, right? Win some of these. Don't go to the brave their territory on the industrial complex. I mean, this is really big.
I will also add to that recently. Brave has been kicking ass. If you look on this graph, their structure losses are a lot less this week compared to last week. They have been rallying and kicking some ass. But if you were to compare Horde to Brave, Brave has not lost a single system in Delve. Let's put it this way. The last time a system was lost in Delve to aggressive action was when the whole of the universe invaded Goons. And Delve isn't the most defendable place in the world. Funnily enough, they live in the most defendable place in the world. So Brave is doing really well, kicking some ass, taking some names, while Horde is just
Yeah,
Brave Sir
I
Gobbins ran
completely
away.
I completely agree. And alliance with versus 50,000, and we see the blue numbers here, right? They lost 19 billion. Is actually 18 and a half without that tower. So 18 and a half billion in one entire week of fighting. So Brave is doing awesome. Kudos to them.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's move to the next one.
So we got the military. Ooh, I've missed a bit.
Yeah. So that's my bad, guys. So just to let you know that when it says military, it means ship destruction. We're gonna change that. And the second charge, I believe they need to replace that. But yeah, until we fix this, a screenshot just to let you know, just to cover the first report where it says weekly military destruction. It shows us from the start, week 22, right? Would be like May from 25th to May 31st, right? And then we are currently in week 23. Week 23, we can see in the first week we started pretty close there, right? We had a lot of fights in the Delve, but then this week we have seen a major spike in the loss from on the PAM side, where they lost 411 billion comparing to 163 in total on the Imperium side. This, when I say Imperium, includes entire Imperium alliances, right? So I think that's really amazing. Again, I think our alliance is looking always more on strategic value comparing to BRs. BR is a kind of side note, so to say, but still, I think this is explaining everything, and I think we're doing really great there. And if you look at the bottom chart, total military destruction, right? Both combined, we're still there almost there. They lost almost twice more since the start. Can we run the total combined together?
Yep.
Yeah. So this one is combined, right? The infrastructure together with the ship loss. And if someone is wondering how do we measure the ship loss, it's basically we measure it based on BRs that are more than 10 billion, right? We don't go into small fights. It would be hard to collect them, but everything what is bigger than 10, we collect this such data. And then sovereignty changes next to all that, next to the structures, next to the military. No one can put a price on sauce, right? We have even increased the number of the uh, turned systems. Like if we can see in the V22, we have won 28 systems, and PAM lost 17. Second week, PAM is losing 25, and Imperium is winning 31. I think, like, I don't know if you want to add anything on this thing. What, in your opinion, like, what should they do? Like, what would you do in the government on the government side? If you would be in his skin, what would you do?
Well, so I'm going to give Gobbins some props here. He has been telling his FCs to chill on the spin, chill on the bullshit, and he has been very upfront with his members about stuff. He, to the point where he corrected an FC in Horde General who was blowing smoke up a member's ass, and he actually said how severe the situation is. Because what Frank didn't mention, Mr. Brisklin, is that whilst we were fighting in EFM the other day, reffing the whole of the Innsmother, Fraternity were also attacking Geminate. They wiped out 3 jump bridges, a whole load of metanoxes, and reinforced a whole load of industry structures to the point where their members were asking if they should evac Geminate. So, Gobbins is quite aware that the situation for Horde is quite dire. But, I mean, I'm not going to help them not make mistakes, but at the same time, the writing for this has been on the wall for a very long time. Let's be honest. They had goons move right next to them. That should have been the first indicator. I'm going to be real. Then we take a system in Scolding Pass. That should have been the next one. But here we are. I would personally fight for what you can fight for. Don't make stupid moves like, oh my god, they're intosing an entire region and we still have 2 keep stars to go around the edge, but let's take this gate. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to say this now because you've already made that fuck up and hopefully you learnt it. But what the fuck? Don't gate into already set up vultures and already set up battleships that you're never going to shoot. Like, Jesus Christ, that's like FCing 101. When all you have to do is burn to a keepstar in Great Wildlands and bridge. Good God. But no, in answer to your question, I would be fighting for what you can and trying to slow the enemy down. Unlike what Horde have done, where they have just given up. They've given up on Innsmother. Yeah. They're drawing the line, which is fine. That's a smart move. They've drawn the line at the entrance to Imperium Reach, but they've made a big mistake. They've woken goons up again. And unlike when they attacked us, we have a lot more friends with a lot more teeth. Even Get Off My Lawn, who have been a small alliance in the Imperium for a long time, used to just join the Goon fleets. They are turning up to these fights with their own fleet. Lawn is forming a fleet and fighting. You've got Sigma Grindset, who, quite frankly, are basically a smaller version of Init, and Sapides is a little bit crazier and will happily throw faction battleships into a 1,000-man fight without, worrying. That man is nuts. He's the sort of man of, if you need dreads on a field and you don't want to use yours, he'll happily drop them. Yeah, and then we've got people like Shadow and Phonetic Legion. Like, the Imperium is in a very good place with a lot of PvP alliances. And this isn't me blowing smoke up their ass, because as all those people just know, I just mentioned, know, if they fuck up, I'm going to tell them. They very bluntly they have. But no.
Yeah,
and then I'm still on my rant. But he's woken goons up as well. We had Lazarus Talraven on a fleet in a Raven. That's funny. For the first time since the Dalv War. For those that don't know who he is, he's one of the OG Goon FCs. He was the commander of the Battle of B-Tech-R and a former host of this show, I believe. So they haven't just gotten us to go to war. They have brought old members back. Give me 1 second to bring up a BR, and I will put the receipts on the screen.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is in our favor. But until you're pulling this on the screen, Dave, I would say, like, when you mentioned they're joining the line, I don't think they even know what they're doing. Like, in a certain point, like, they look like withdrawing, and at a certain point look like they want to show some teeth and try to defend, but then they make such a huge mistakes and then go back again, and they're changing and pinging different statements every week. Is something different, so I don't think they know what to do.
No, I think yeah, they've got a few people in their alliance that have two brain cells to rub together, but they're burnt out. They're the people that have been doing BFL for a very long time. So, and a lot of their good people, yeah, like in the past, Horde had Alpha Star Pilot, who, quite frankly, was an outstanding FC. One of my favourite FCs to fight. Yeah, Muskie's good. Devon can be good. But the amount of times Horde ping now, and I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And these people are going up against the likes of, Asher and Alterari and Arcadius, and me and Apple. They don't stand a chance. They're in a very bad position.
Dave, are these rogues with ABs?
They are, yeah. No, these are MWD rogues. And they had them on the whole time. And these boys went zap. And then these boys went missile. And then these boys went missile and these guys went boom. But just to prove what I was saying, in this fleet, which was my fleet, you have the Alliance Executor of Goonswarm and the Imperium on a fleet. Do you see Goblins? No. You have one of the finance directors on the fleet. Do you see Goblins? No.
Exactly. And to this point, I don't want to go too much out of this topic, but also I think that's why Asher, everyone likes the Asher, because first of all, the way how he communicates and the transparency, and like if you watch the pings from the Goblins, always BRS is at the first place. It's all about the B. When we won that battle in a Great Violence 2 days ago, the first words from the Asher were like, "We form big, enemy form big. We won
Yeah.
this
Well done.
strategically."
Pat on the back.
Exactly.
BR linked to
Well
the
done.
bottom.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's a side note. It's a side.
Yeah.
And
As I was saying earlier, here's the receipt. Laz is back. Laz wants to kick some ass. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this war kicks off even more if V turns up, and good God, are they screwed if Mr. V starts typing. So, they're making some key mistakes, and they have made the mistake of energizing Goonswarm. We were in a bit of a crab hole before this. And we couldn't, I'm going to be honest, we could barely fill a fleet, especially in USTZ. We had the armor timer the other day where Asher told everybody not to worry about waking up. I didn't even I played Dune because I wasn't needed. We had 7 fleets from Goonswarm alone. I can't remember the last time Goonswarm formed 7 fleets just on a...
Subcapitals.
Yeah, subcaps on a... don't worry about being there, go back to bed. And as I said on the last show, Goons do not leave their allies hung out to dry. Horde.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so...
Did you see the Tempest Fleet issue, Dave?
Yes. Yes, I did. By the way, guys, I heard if you type Mr. V 3 times, he turns up. Careful. So, really, I think Horde are in a precarious place. I really do. No future plans or anything like that. I don't actually know what Asher's plan is beyond Innsmother, if there is one. Personally, I think we should go into Ethereum Reach, and then the Spire, and then Malpez, then Kalevala Expand. You getting this gist? Because fuck Horde. And I think I have panda friends in the north that would also say fuck Horde. Yeah, Remaker, what's your take on everything?
My thought is, I think Goblins is a cockroach, just wanting to stay in the power. And I think that it's just a matter of time until he loses his share, because you will see slowly members leaving, you will see corporations leaving, and shit's gonna hit the fan. I am sure it's just a matter of time, because you can try to twist the things, but at a certain point, people will realize, what are we doing here? Why are we even here?
Yeah,
right?
what's the point?
Why is this guy leading us? What's the point exactly? Like, we're giving them everything. Like, I've seen some Reddit comments. They're saying, the Pandemic Horde members are saying, like, hey, it doesn't hold any value. Come on, In's mother produced like 3 trillion of their revenue on a monthly basis. So don't tell me it has no value. Like, what are you talking about? And all the renters that have left, in the front of the Goonswarm, that have left these territories. Like, I mean, come on, like, you are losing really badly, and your leader is just twisting the boards. I know, I don't know, I would never like support this kind of leader. Like, I really appreciate honesty, like, like Asha do. I would risk my last ship for that kind of leadership, but not the other way around. But
Yeah.
also, like, Dave spoke earlier before this show with someone who said, I would leave Pandemic Horde after that Goblin thing, because you're admitting that the enemy is doing whatever they want and you cannot do anything about it.
Yeah,
So
it's like... Somebody just mentioned him in chat, actually. Mittens, people may love him, people may hate him. But good God, could that man lead? He energized an entire coalition to survive for a year under siege. He was there. People used to comment he didn't log in. Then he logged in. He was on every fleet. The last time I saw Gobbins logged in on a fleet was the Battle of M2, and he was swiftly sent the fuck back to T5Z. It's, it's just a difference in leadership, but being an absentee leader is terrible leadership. And as you said, I would have left. Like, I don't want to be in an alliance where the leader is not when you're getting attacked, the leadership is not with you. Like, in our fleets, when something big kicks off, the command channels turn huge because every director under the fucking sun joins the fleet. And for those that don't know, the Goonswarm director bench is about as deep as, I don't know, the ocean. But that's another thing. When our Sigs and squads years ago attacked the Spire and Ethereum Reach, the second the pressure was on, people turned their back on Horde because Horde is not there for their allies. And it will happen again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember when we first attacked and cleaned up the impasse in Tenerife, right? You know, these renters that were paying, you know, to live there, they also should get their protection, right? But then when they started losing shit, I saw the goblins pinging to their own alliance saying, you know, it's their own space, they have to defend themselves.
They made their
How
bed,
they're
they
going
sleep.
to defend them?
The only time we ever do that is if an ally takes way too much space that we've been like, that's not a good idea. You know, making a floodplain, and we're like, well, you made your bed there, bud. But
Yeah,
for instance, Horde, we're going back. We immediately set up, not Horde, Brave. We immediately set up contingencies to assist Brave in an instant. But PamFam, just leave there. And guys, if there are any PamFam affiliates in here, renters or whatever, I'm sure if you reach out to Goonswarm Diplomatic Corps and the corporation recruitment guys, or reach out to any others, they can get a conversation going. I'm not giving you any guarantees, but a conversation can be started. And I'm sure the military guys will be happy to help you move your shit. You know?
yeah.
Because we like people joining our family. And that's
Definitely.
essentially what it is. I sound like one of them cringy bloody recruiters for a job. Oh, we're just one big family here. But, you know, and no, they don't get their first month's deposit back. They may want to go to a housing tribunal for that. But
And you know what, Dave? You don't get charged for mining.
no, you don't. Axe the tax. Yes, so really, this show's been a lot of numbers, a lot of me ranting because Gobbins is a fucking dumbass. But at the end of the day, he's a dumbass, and there's guaranteed on the YouTube video. I know people are gonna say it is. Oh, I'm tired of Dave's voice. He just rants. He sounds butthurt. I'm not butthurt. I'm loving this because I'm having a lot of fun. I get to fly doctrines with missiles that go boom. I love missile doctrines. You know. But on the truth, Maz. So on Reddit, I saw a Reddit post that has since been deleted of that seam is exactly right there because I get home from work and I sit in chairs all day, buddy, FCing or building stuff or Eve. I saw a Reddit post that got deleted. I only saw the like bit it gives you in the expanded bit in Discord of a Horde member complaining about the leadership or lack thereof. I wish I could have got the background on it, but there it is.
Dave.
There's Reddit post.
More
I bet he
coming.
got told to delete it. So message.
More is coming.
We're gonna bring it to a close unless Remake has got anything else there.
No, so I wanted to add on what you just said on Reddit. I have to say something. I did a post a week ago calling out Pandemic Horde members to replace their leader by outlisting all the facts, right? And I think the post was out there for 2 hours. We got more than 100 comments, so many views. The post exploded, and then there were so many haters that they basically flagged the post. It got deleted after 2 hours, right? But you could see so many members from Pandemic
It's
Horde
probably the
where
one.
they typed,
There we
where
go.
they
I'll link this
typed.
picture.
where they typing, yeah, we need some change. This has to stop, right?
Tell you what, folks. What I'll say on that, if there's any Horde watching, I would love to hear from you. As me and Keith keep saying, we would love to hear from you. Whether it's you guys are talking out your ass, Gobbins is a great guy that me, hot, or it's yeah, no, I agree with you. Gobbins' leadership is terrible in this moment, and he either needs to step the fuck up or step the fuck down. Which, quite frankly, from what I've seen from Horde General, other than the correcting misinformation, which is an odd one for Gobbins, he's normally the biggest spewer of it, and from the pings, he really needs to do that. He needs to step the fuck up or step the fuck down.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of people, Dave, out there that they don't know what is happening.
Yeah. And what I'm going to say is, I'm not the sort that goes around and goes, let's destroy Horde. I'm not PGL or Villy. I'm not that naive. We're not going to destroy Horde. Horde, hopefully, is bigger than just the entity in the game. Everybody's got friends. It will live on. But it's a game.
Indeed.
I sure as shit will blow up everything in their space. And if Gobbins won't lead his people to defend that, there we are. And Seema's got a good point, though. Who is the next Gobbins? So what I would say, folks, if you are Horde and you want to give your opinion on this, it can be pro or against, then hop on the Iron End Discord. We have a Meta Show channel. Start the discussion. Yeah? Tell me I'm talking out of my ass. Tell me, you think Gobbins could be doing better. Tell me you think Gobbins is amazing and how much you want to suck is. But let's start the discussion. But until then, folks, until then, that is all for me. I've ranted enough. Everybody in the YouTube comments are going to hate it because they hate me. But hey, there's 200 people here watching that seem to be loving it. I don't pull strings in recruitment, sir. That's not my job. My job's to blow stuff up and stop stuff being blown up. That's someone else's job. So, yeah, that's all from me. As I said, hop on the Iron End Discord. I think we have an exclamation mark Discord command, do we? Yes, hop on there. Start the discussion in the Meta Show channel. Remaker, what you got? Anything else?
No, actually, I just have one thing. I was trying to get it today done. I wasn't able. I didn't make it in time, but I promise I will give you for your next show is composing a map, like a strategy map, showing up, what is happening, where the fight's going on, where are the borderlines stage, so we can visually bring you these guys for those who are not in the Imperium or the Pandemic Horde, so you can actually see what is going on. I promise you that. I will give it that today, next week.
Okie dokie. So before we close out, that's a direct link to the Meta Show discussion channel. Get in there, have a discussion. And until next week, goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.